Hi, Homer Nottingham here. Well, today we're going to do something very special. We're going to do a walking meditation. We're at UCSB, University of California at Santa Barbara, overlooking the ocean. It's a beautiful spot to do a walking meditation. And we have a very famous labyrinth behind us here that we're going to be walking through and trying to get to the center, just as if, in real life we try to get to the center all the time, trying to get ourselves calmed down. This is a walking meditation that'll support us to do that. We hit obstacles as we're going through life, trying to come into a state of peace and calm. So follow along with me, and when I say we're doing something, or we hit a particular spot, well, imagine yourself, this happening to yourself, and go deep and feel within your body, mind, soul. Just start to feel what I'm talking about at that particular time. So let's go ahead and start this walking meditation. So let's just come right around this way. And this is, you can go ahead and pan it, John, pan the whole labyrinth here. If there's some people there, that's fine. Just take a look at it. That's what we're going to be walking today. And we're trying to get to the center. You see right where the center is at over there? We're trying to get right to the center of that spot. And that's the way life is. We're always trying to get to the center. So let's start our walk here, nice and slow and gentle. We drop our shoulders, shoulder blades, we tuck our buttock, come into good posture and start to walk. Now we're headed right straight towards the center here. As we head towards the center, we run into all kinds of things. We're trying to get to our center. So we might run in here to some regrets. Where have we had regrets in our life? And that's going to throw us off. Something that's bothered us from long ago, just regretting doing something or why we didn't do something. There's all kinds of regrets that we have that'll block us from getting to our center. So think about your regrets and what they might be. As we're walking towards the center, it stops here. Now we're going to go a little closer to the center. So we just turn, come around, nice and gentle. We just hit another wall there. And that wall might be resentments. Where in your life have you had resentments? What type of resentments did you have? Maybe somebody did something many years ago. And when that comes up in the middle of the night, then it'll wake us up at 2 in the morning. Now we're walking right towards the center now. We're almost to the center, but as soon as we get close to the center, again, things happen in our life. So the regrets and resentments. Now when we hit this wall here, we might be thinking about, what's happened to us many, many years ago, as far as, perhaps, anything that might have blocked us. And now we're going to come around. See, we're getting further away from the center all the time because of these regrets and resentments. And now maybe we're coming into some worries. What am I going to do for the rest of my life? How am I going to live? Do I have enough money? That's taken us way away from the center. So where's that happening in your life, that worry? What's worrying you? Nice and gentle. We're always hitting the walls, always coming to a spot where we cannot get to the center. The center is still over on this side. We're not very far from it, but it takes us away from the center again. Moving. So we might come into some of the lifestyles that we're living that's blocking us from getting there. Perhaps it's the seeds. Remember seeds? Causes stress and tension in our body. It's causing 60 to 90% of all of our illnesses and injuries. So as we're walking along, we think about how are we sleeping at night? How can we get a better night's sleep? And that's going to start to take us back to the center. So now we're coming back towards the center again. And as we walk along, we might think about, am I exercising enough? That's one of the lifestyle changes I need if I'm going to get rid of the tension in my body. And that's going to take us a little closer to the center. Always striving to get to the center as we do our walking meditation. Now, what are we doing for our cognitive fitness, the education of our brain? Are we doing our art projects? Are we doing games? What are we doing for that cognitive fitness? That takes us back a little closer to the center again. Now we're getting very close to the center as we think about our sleep, our exercise, and our cognitive fitness. Now we're almost here. We're right next to the center. And then all of a sudden we hit another wall over here. and that takes us away from our center. It's very difficult to get to our center. So now maybe it's the diet. You know, it puts inflammation in the body. What are we eating? What are we drinking? What's causing us to have inflammation, chronic inflammation in our body? How do we get rid of it? It's taking us further and further away from our center. Just can't seem to get to the center constantly and continuously. So maybe our diet is one of the things as it takes us away that we want to consider. What are we doing? How are we doing it? This walking meditation. So then we come to how are we socially? When we come how we are socially, again, it's taking us further away. Maybe having some kind of problem socially, not associating enough, maybe a sedentary lifestyle where we're sitting around at home watching TV all the time, doing whatever we might do, but not coming out of the house and talking to people, being social. So the seeds, S-E-E-D-S, sleep is taking us away from our center. Exercise, not enough of the right exercise, slow, gentle exercises to stretch all the connective tissues in the body. Are we doing enough? Maybe we should be doing a little bit more to help get us to the center. Those lifestyle changes are really taking us away from the center. It's time to make some lifestyle changes to get that tension. That tension is inflammation. It's in our connective tissues. What's happening? We're getting further away. The center's way back on the other side now. Slow and gentle. We're trying to get to that center as best we can. So we're thinking about all of the seeds in our life. Get rid of that stress and tension. We have to get some better sleep. How are we going to get sleep? How are we going to keep those thoughts, those regrets and resentments, those worries from waking us up in the middle of the night? That sadness and grief that we have in our bodies. It's taking us further and further away from the center of our lives. Nice and gentle. The anger. Oh, that's a big one. Why do we get angry sometimes? There's no need for anger in our lives. How do we get rid of that? That anger is taking us further away. The center is getting further away from our bodies. The fear. What do we fear? We only live in the present. We don't live in the past. We don't live in the future. We live in the present. We can't stay in the present, and it's taking us further away from the center. We're almost back to the outer edge of our center, just from being concerned about that fear. How can we get more courage into our lives? Now we're way on the outside, so we're totally out of balance. That stress and tension is building more and more. Nice and gentle, just walking. That stress, tension, anger, all of the things that are taking us away from our center. How do we come to terms with that? Now we're clear on the outside, just about ready to flip over. Mentally, physically, we're totally exhausted sometimes. That stress and tension builds up more and more in our body. We're almost to the edge here, about to fall off. We don't want to fall off, so we begin to think, what can we do? How can we improve some of our lifestyles? We're walking on the edge of life right now, right at the very edge. So we take some long, deep breaths. We begin to slow the breaths down. Soft breaths. Coming into a total state of calmness. When that happens, we start to go back towards the center again. Now we're in that total state of calmness, softness. Our heart's beginning to calm down. Our body's beginning to feel relaxed. Taking those long, deep breaths, slow, soft, slender breaths, like a silk thread running from my nose down into my lungs, called thread breathing. I begin thread breathing. That gets me a little closer to the center. Coming into a deeper state of calmness. I continue to breathe that way. Long, deep breaths, slow, soft, slender breaths, unifying my breath with my body. Seems to be moving me in the right direction. I'm now up away from the edge. I'm no longer on the edge of my life. coming more into the center of my life. I begin to breathe, nice and gentle, soft, slower breaths, softer breaths. Oh, it's taking me closer to the center. I'm coming to the center of my life. That's where I want to stand. In total ease, total relaxation, living a life of happiness, joy, love, peace, and compassion. Perfect kindness is coming to my heart. Love, perfect kindness, joy, compassion. Compassion is perfect awareness. It's bringing joy into my life. Beautiful joy, compassion, perfect awareness of everything that's going on around me. So I'm just moving along with love, peace, and compassion in my life, feeling totally relaxed. And then all of a sudden I hit another lifestyle change that I should be working on, maybe my diet. Now it's taking me away, maybe the anger, maybe the fear. It's taking me away from the center again. Beginning to breathe with shorter and shallower breaths. It's taking me further away from the center. More anger, more anxiety coming from the future about what's going to happen to me. Am I going to have enough money? Am I going to be able to live in my right spot? What's happening as I age? That takes me further away from my... Now I'm getting back to the outskirts of my life again. Slow and gentle. What's happening? How can I get back to the center? How can I make the lifestyle changes that's going to bring me to the center, to that love, peace, and compassion, that perfect kindness in my heart, that perfect contentment in my body? I can't seem to quite grasp it. I'm waking up in the middle of the night. It's not happening. What am I to do? And again, I'm on the outskirts of life. Just like the real life. As we move through our real life, all of these things, these lifestyle changes are not happening the way they should. It takes us further to the edge. We don't want to be on the edge. We want to be in the center. We want a life of happiness. Our goal is happiness. Don't let the world change your happiness. Let your happiness change the world. Now we're right on the edge of life again, wondering how are we ever going to get to our center? Why do I have the anxiety, the fear, the sadness, and the grief? Why do I have the worry? And then we come to an edge. We start to change our lifestyle. Now we're headed straight for the center. We're going to get there. We can see the center right in front of us. There it is. And then another wall hits. Another lifestyle change. We didn't quite complete what we started. Now it's turning us away from the center again. How do we get to that center? And then those lifestyle changes begin to happen, and we start to move closer to the center. The sleep is getting stronger. The cognitive fitness is better. The exercise classes are great. I'm attending them on a regular basis. I've changed my diet. And yes, glory be, happy, happy, happy. Don't let the world change your happiness. Let your happiness change the world. We're there. Yes.